You know that feeling? That awful, sinking feeling when your door lock just gives up on you. It's stiff, it's stuck, and you're in a hurry. Well, if that's your uPVC door, you are in exactly the right place. In the next few minutes, we're going to figure out why this happens and, more importantly, how you can fix it. So let's get right into it. So you lift the handle, you go to turn the key, and nothing. Just solid. Or maybe it's gotten so stiff you're genuinely worried the key is going to snap right off in the lock. Believe me, it's a super common problem. But the good news is the solution is usually pretty straightforward.
Look, a jammed lock is more than just annoying, right? It's a real security issue. But what I want you to know is that the cause is often way simpler than you think. It really all starts with understanding the kind of lock you're actually dealing with.
See, most of these uPVC doors don't just have one little lock. They've got what's called a multi-point system. It's this whole collection of hooks and rollers and bolts up and down the door, and they all have to work together perfectly. Think of it like a little orchestra. If one single instrument is out of tune, the whole thing just sounds wrong. Same idea here.
So what's actually going wrong inside your door? Figuring out the why is absolutely the first step to getting the right fix. So let's play detective for a minute and look at the 5 most common culprits that can throw this whole system out of whack. What's really interesting is that most of the time, the lock itself isn't technically broken. A lot of the time, it's just that the door is misaligned, maybe because it's hot or cold outside, or the hinges are worn. Other big causes are a worn-out gearbox right in the middle, handles that are drooping because the springs inside are tired, or sometimes it's just plain old dirt and rust jamming things up.
Okay, now that we have our list of suspects, let's get hands-on. Here is a simple first aid checklist. These are things you can try right now, before you even think about picking up the phone to call a locksmith.
But first, and this is the golden rule, you have to listen to this. Do not force it. I'm serious. Trying to muscle the key or wrench the handle up can completely strip the gears inside. And that turns a simple, cheap fix into a really expensive replacement. So be gentle.
All right, with that warning fresh in our minds, let's walk through our 4 steps. We're going to start with a quick little litmus test to figure out what's really going on. Then we'll check the alignment, tighten a few screws, and finish it off with some proper lubrication.
Okay, this right here is the litmus test, and it's brilliant because it's so simple. Swing your door wide open. Now lift the handle and turn the key. If all those bolts slide out nice and smooth, guess what? Your lock mechanism is probably fine. The problem is almost certainly that your door isn't aligned with the frame. But if it still jams up even when the door is open, well then you know the problem is inside the lock's main gearbox.
Now, if your main problem is just stiffness, a little lubricant can be magic. But what you use is so important. You want to grab a spray graphite or a silicone-based lubricant. Whatever you do, never use an oil-based product like WD-40 on a lock. It seems like a good idea, but it's a total dirt magnet and will just gump everything up down the road, making things way worse.
So you've tried all the DIY steps, and that lock is still giving you grief. Hey, no problem. That just means it's time to call in a pro. And knowing what to ask them for can actually save you some serious cash.
Remember that litmus test we did? If your lock was jamming, even with the door wide open, that points the finger directly at one thing, the internal gearbox. That's the central command center for the whole locking strip. And here is the pro tip that you need to know. A lot of people assume you have to replace that entire, long, expensive metal strip that runs down the door. Nope. A good locksmith can often just swap out the central gearbox itself. It is so much faster and way, way cheaper. So make sure you ask them if that's an option. All right, your door is back in action. It's working perfectly. Let's talk about how to keep it that way. Just a few minutes of simple maintenance each year can stop you from ever having this headache again.
So here's your annual checklist. It's super simple. Once a year, just clean out any dirt or grime you can see in the mechanism. Check all the screws on the hinges and the lock's faceplate, and just give them a little tighten if they're loose. And finally, a quick, light spray with that silicone lubricant. That's it. That's the whole list. Seriously, we're talking about a routine that takes, 5 minutes a year? But it's that little bit of effort that keeps all those parts moving smoothly and can dramatically, and I mean dramatically, extend the life of your lock.
So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. It really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? Taking those 5 minutes for a little checkup today is always going to be better than being stuck on your own doorstep tomorrow.